fantastic.
For what you're doing. How does Friday look?
Oh, I think really good.
You're going to come upstairs, right? Or
Yes, please. At that time.
good. So let's catch up then.
I'm meeting him for the first time.
Get out of here.
Kelly, nice to meet you.
And Kelly Moore?
Thanks for all the support and encouragement.
Oh,
National
okay. Yeah, I see.
Association of
I've
Japan
seen
American
all the.
Societies. Okay. I'll do it right after we get. Are we ready to go with the senator?
Yes.
I'm sorry? I don't know about him yet. Okay, let's get back going. Senator Kelly, come on in, everybody. You have to break away. We're going to get, maybe we should play it. I think we're going to have to play it. Just cue it up and we'll, just kind of hold it and then we'll. Please come back, please.
We say tercera llamada.
What does that mean?
It's a true call. It's like in the theaters. Tercera llamada.
Hey, Carolyn,
How are you? I'm so sorry about this, but I just didn't have any time, and I'm here, but I cannot talk. I didn't prepare.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming. Still have time to show the 2 slides?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
Maybe just, you're okay with it? We actually sent your slides to
Semiconductor Summit, but I want to take a moment.
oh, that's how we like to see it.
And
Yes.
then they spoke 20 minutes instead of 10 minutes. Let's see if we can. Hello, everybody. We're going to get going. Hey, there was somebody here that was going to try to find you, but I'll connect you up separately. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going in to sit down. Just pushing us in.
Okay, we're going to play Senator Kelly. Let's go. While people file in, because we're running a little bit late and Mr. Shi is on a timeline, we're going to get going. So if you could take a seat as you come in, we're going to play Senator Kelly. Volume high, control room, volume high. Yep.
Hey folks, it's Senator Mark Kelly. Welcome to Arizona. And I'm sorry I can't be with you today at the 4th Annual Global Semiconductor Summit, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about the global microchip hub our state is rapidly becoming. As I'm sure all of you know, microchips are present in so many things we use every day, from cell phones to washing machines to cars and fighter jets. They're a huge part of today's world, and they have also become a key part of Arizona's future. As we work to bring microchip manufacturing back to our shores, there's no better place to do this than right here in Arizona. Companies like Motorola and Intel came to Arizona in the 1960s and 70s when we were just sending astronauts to the moon with computers less powerful than your cell phone. This is the foundation that Arizona's modern technology, economy, and workforce has been built on. And it's why we've become a growing hub for semiconductor manufacturing with TSMC choosing to locate their first U.S. facility in our state, and Intel building new manufacturing facilities in Chandler. For years, politicians have talked about bringing jobs and manufacturing back to America, but now we're actually doing it. As Arizona Senator, my focus is on maximizing that opportunity for our state because there's no better place in the country for it. That's why I work to negotiate the $52 billion bipartisan deal to fund the CHIPS Act, and why I work to get the CHIPS permitting bill passed to streamline the process for getting these fabs up and running. But our work doesn't stop here. My team continues to work alongside Governor Hobbs and other local leaders to make sure that Arizona's businesses and research institutions are best positioned to compete for funding from the CHIPS Act programs. This summit underscores what I'm constantly telling my colleagues in Washington, that Arizona is the new national hub for semiconductor research, development, testing, and manufacturing here in the United States. Please consider me and my office as a resource, and know that I'm going to continue to work hard on this to support this critical industry in the months and years to come. Thank you, and enjoy the conference. Hey folks, it's Senator Mark Kelly. Welcome to Arizona. And I'm sorry I can't be with you today at the 4th Annual Global.
He was so good, we want to hear him twice. So he apologizes for not being here, but critically important factor in getting the CHIPS Act in place, and a great leader. Marlos, could you come up for a second? So we're going to get into Asia, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the Netherlands. And you may not know Marlos, and I honestly didn't know, but you have a new initiative here in Arizona. Could you let us know more about what you're doing, how it ties back into what Odette has been doing, and how we can help?
Thank you so much. And I'm always here to talk about the Netherlands, so open invitation. I'm not alone. This is my greatest source of support, Odette Bakker, who's the honorary consul to the Netherlands, who was supposed to introduce me, but I'll introduce her now.
Yes.
My name is Marloes. I represent the Netherlands Business Support Office that has been opened here in Phoenix last month. Just to refresh everybody's memories, the Netherlands is a tiny country right there over in the northwest in Europe. And it's actually a very exciting time for us to be here in Arizona. Not only because we have 3 of the biggest global semiconductor companies represented here in Arizona. So that's ASML, ASM, NXP. But also because the trade relationship between Arizona and the Netherlands is increasingly strong. The same day that the Netherlands Business Support Office was opened here, the Netherlands and Arizona have signed a memorandum of understanding to keep supporting the semiconductor ecosystem in both states, so here as well as in the Netherlands, and to promote exchange to keep strengthening the semiconductor ecosystem. And an MOU is very much a signature on a piece of paper, but we want to avoid that. So what we want to actually do, and this is also an open invitation to everybody here present today, is we want to make sure that we see projects happening out of this cooperation. And what does that look like? Ideally, that works sort of in 3 departments. So there's the government to government, making sure that as governments we support the ecosystem with its infrastructure, with its talent development, and with whatever else we can do to make sure that companies thrive. It is a research to research cooperation where hopefully we can facilitate university and even vocational school exchanges. And there's a talent component to it. So if I walk away with anything here today, it would be my invitation for, if I don't already know you, please come in and see me. I would love to know more about what you're doing here. And, sorry? No. Oh, yeah, thank you. So the next slide will have our LinkedIn, so please come and connect and follow us. And so yeah, please come say hi. And Obviously, if your company or the institution that you work for sees any challenges or any solutions in the semiconductor space, come and find us. We would love to connect you with either opportunities or solutions or counterparts in the Netherlands. So it's great meeting everybody, and I hope to connect.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. I think we're going to Texas next. We missed Texas in the first part. And Drew, are you there? I wonder if you could shorten your presentation to about 5 minutes, please. Drew, are you there? By now, Europe and the
Drew,
Middle
we can't
East.
hear you.
I'm sorry?
We can't hear Drew's voice.
No, we can't. We don't see him either. Is he having a technical problem?
Just a moment.
So that's Jem. She's with Global Chambers sitting in Singapore and hanging on for a little bit longer. She's been up most of the night. And so we'll get through it. And we'll get back to Asia here in a moment. Anybody else from Texas here? Nobody's from Texas? We might not hear from Texas. But while we're waiting, Kelly Moore is here. And one of the great things about Kelly every year is I get this Japanese calendar from the consulate, and Kelly delivers it. He's been awarded the highest award by the Japanese government in his service for the Japanese community here in Arizona, including the Matsuri. Kelly, the Matsuri is coming up. Could you let us know about that? Maybe not. Have you ever heard of the Matsuri in Phoenix? Oh, sure. Come on up. Arizona has one of the top Matsuris in the United States. I think it's number 2. Maybe it's number 1. Are we number 1 or 2? It's number 1. And number 1 in our hearts. What should we know about the Matsuri?
Well, let's see.
You want me to hold that for you?
Yeah, hold this up.
I'm not sure what exactly is going to happen here. What is this? This looks special.
Here is my Matsuri coat, and we'll see about this. And let me, Doug asked me to talk about the Matsuri, but I want to talk a little bit more about Matsuri and other things dealing with Japan and Arizona. And you talk about the economics, and I think I tried to see how many companies are in Japan, from Japan and Arizona, and I typed in companies in Japan and Arizona, and I have a whole weekend worth of reading. So there's tons and tons of them. The numbers are so great, but they go from high tech to farming, really. And so there's a large presence of companies in Japan. Education, there is a Japanese school, it's called the Arizona Gakuen, and they teach academic subjects in Japanese. And they do science, language arts, math, plain old art, and it's open to any child who wants to go to school on Saturday, which means like 1 or 2, yeah, maybe. Culture, there is there's a sister city relationship with Phoenix, and a sister city is Himeji, and it's famous for its castle. And the sister city relationships with the sister cities, there are educational exchanges, cultural exchanges, governmental exchanges, and next year will be the 50th anniversary of that relationship. So it's been long going. There's a Japanese friendship garden, and it's on 3rd Avenue in Roosevelt, basically. And I was trying to think of descriptions for it. You have to see it. It's about 4 acres. It's 3.78 or something acres. And the only 2 words I could come up with are tranquility and beauty. And if you ever see it, maybe visited before. My sister is a member of the Japanese garden in Portland, and she saw the Arizona garden or the Phoenix garden last year for the first time. And her comment is, this is about 10 times better than the Portland one. So there you go. And then lastly is the Matsuri. And Matsuri is the Japanese word for festival. And this weekend on the Saturday and Sunday is the 41st Matsuri. So it's been in existence since 1984, I guess. And it's held at Indian School Park, just up the street there. There's going to be over 40, I lost count. I was trying to go through the list, but over 40 vendors, and they're all Japanese related of some sort. Some is anime, some is vintage clothing, some is calligraphy. 40 vendors. There are 20 exhibitors, or over 20, and among the exhibitors are schools, Japanese programs, the Friendship Garden, the Art Museum, all Japan related. 25 food vendors or more, and children's activity zone, and there are 4 stages. There's a taiko stage, a martial arts stage, and a cultural stage, and a Candyman stage, and whatever you can put on in 2 days will be on there, and ranging from Japanese dance, Japanese music, to children's choruses, all in Japanese. It's a family event, so take your kids there, and I think you'll have a good time. So this Saturday and Sunday, and it's free admission. Okay?
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
We get to keep that?
Yeah, you want it?
Sure. yeah.
Okay, well.
We'll post it tonight.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. See you.
Kelly Moore. Those of you on the Zoom call may not know Kelly, but everybody here in Arizona knows Kelly. Do we have Texas on the line?
I'm hopeful.
Yay!
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Drew. Please go
All
ahead.
right.
5 minutes.
I'll be very brief.
Awesome.
I wanted to give a welcome from Texas, and you can advance the slide here. Texas, we've got a couple of key things I want to touch on. That's a good slide to keep on. We've got 200. We're just rolling here. We'll just if you could go to the third slide, please. So we've got a growing population here in the state of Texas with 200 semiconductor companies, 47,000 employees, an annual export of $20 billion a year. You've got substantial investment that's been going on from Samsung and Logic Foundries and R&D fab and an advanced packaging facility, substantial investment in a number of legacy areas, extreme semiconductors, and the state has been making very substantial investments into partnership with semiconductor companies through the creation of the Semiconductor Innovation Consortium, roughly a $700 million fund that has been more than matched by a DARPA R&D project on next generation DoD microsystems, substantial investments into both the Texas A&M College Station and UT Austin area, and a recently announced investment from Micron and R&D in the North Texas area. Go to the last slide, please. Texas is always open for business, and we have some critical semiconductor, both semiconductor specific as well as broader incentives. I mentioned the Semiconductor Innovation Consortium, which is led by the former president of UT Dallas, David Daniel. But there are also property tax limitations for any Star Wars fans in the audience. It's called the Jedi property tax limitation. It's now in its 3rd year. And there are other kinds of tax limitations. I'm happy to talk about any of these specifically with you. The Freeport exemption is one in many parts of the state. when you have inventory for fewer than 180 days. There's a deal closing cash grant, and also some workforce grants. We are also, this legislative session as a state, looking to make a $5 billion investment into water and water resources on top of last session's $1 billion investment into water. So we're making very substantial investments there. So I know we're on limited time. I'm happy to have Doug and the team share the full 11, 12 slide presentation and have any follow-up as you may see fit. Glad we could connect, and thanks for all you do.
Drew, thank you. Could we see your contact information slide? Maybe is it the next slide? Jim? There we go.
My contact is on the first slide.
On the first slide.
Yep.
There we go.
There you go.
So Drew, remember, with the group he's with is the one that Glenn Hammer now leads. Yeah. And so many of you know Glenn. Do you report to Glenn? How is he doing?
Glenn is doing great. The poor man is in Italy at the moment, trying to make his way, but he's actually on business, so he says. And we all adore him here in Texas, but he has enormous fondness for Arizona. And it was great to see Fernando Alba from his presentation earlier. We've worked closely with them as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, Drew.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Let's now go to Korea, and James Jungbaek Kim is the director of the Incheon Free Enterprise Zone. Global Chamber was supportive of IFES at CES, and so they've agreed just to give us a sense of what's going on from the Korea standpoint, what are some of the developments, and Mr. Kim.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you okay. Thank you for sharing. Please go ahead.
Yes. Well, I'd like to thank Global Chambers for inviting us to present Incheon. If we can go to the first slide, next slide, just to give you a brief explanation of where Incheon Free Economic Zone is. You might wonder whether you have visited or not, but if you have ever visited Korea, you probably landed in Incheon International Airport. It's one of the largest airports in Asia. And the large island on the left side is where the airport is. And if you go towards east, then you reach Seoul. And those three areas, Yeongjong Island, Cheongna, and Songdo, are major areas that Free Economic Zone Authority controls in terms of zoning and what businesses should be entered in. The Free Economic Zone regulation was set up 21 years ago, and most of the area was mudflat and ocean, and these areas have been reclaimed in order to build a brand new smart city. So hopefully you'll be able to visit Songdo, where our office is located and where Bio cluster is located, and we'll be welcoming you much. Next slide. We can go to the next content. I'm just going to go through briefly on Korea's role and skip the first section because I'm sure you have handled a significant portion of that. Next slide. Next slide, please. So we although there has been a little bit of shakiness in the market, we still believe there's going to be strong global demand in semiconductors. AI semiconductor will be accounting for a significant portion of that. Next. Obviously, U.S. is still a dominating country in terms of the industry, and Korea is second to U.S. in terms of presence. And obviously, we have a significant portion of the memory sector coming from Samsung as well as SK Hynix. Next slide. And this slide details in terms of where we see Korea fitting in terms of global market. There has been significant effort in order to increase system semiconductors as well as foundry aspect from Samsung and Hynix. We have significant portion of presence in ASML in Korea as well. Next slide. This again kind of outlines where Korea fits in terms of overall industry. Next slide, please. Again, Korea is second in global semiconductor market share, 19% after US. Certainly, we compete with Taiwan in foundry and other businesses, but in terms of memory market, we pretty much dominate and significant export item, 20% of the country. Next slide. So where is Incheon fitting into overall Korea's semiconductor industry? Significant portion of manufacturing of memory chips are located in Pyeongtaek and Yongin, which is south of Seoul. We are focusing on kind of packaging and testing areas. Incheon is home to Amkor Korea. Obviously, Amkor is based in Arizona, and that's Chip Pack Korea, based in Singapore, having a significant presence in Korea. And we have 1299 semiconductor related companies all contributing to the export market, making the cities a top export industry. Next, please. And because of Incheon International Airport, as well as the port that is located strategically in west side of Korea, we have strong cooperation and export ties with China. And a lot of global companies are looking into Korea as well as Incheon specifically of locating in order to not only set up the base in Asia, but in order to attack a Chinese market due to various trade issues with the U.S. I apologize for my voice because of I have a little bit cold, but hopefully the sound is okay in over there. Next slide. Again, design is a major focus of U.S., but we're continuously trying to increase from memory chips into packaging and testing, as well as system semiconductors. Next slide. These are some of the companies based in Incheon. Incheon Free Economic Zone continues to welcome many of the global companies to be based in Incheon. Obviously, we have a major focus as well as developments in biotechnology in Songdo area due to Samsung Bio and Lotte and elsewhere. But semiconductor is another major focus in terms of industries. And obviously there are a lot of parts as well as design, chip sector, smaller companies based in Incheon as well. Next slide. This repeats we're trying to become advanced packaging hub. Many of the companies are reaching us in order to look for manufacturing land and cooperation in research and development as well. Next slide. So, as an authority trying to bring in global semiconductor companies, we're trying to focus on how to set up an innovation hub. Obviously, if you have customer supplier relationship with Samsung and Hynix, it certainly makes strategic sense in order to locate into Incheon, especially because of various connections with the airport. Next slide. So we, as an authority, have support programs. We would like to invite significant, globally competitive companies to locate into Korea. We have certain amount of land allocated in order to attract semiconductor companies, and we're trying to designate Ganghwa Island, which is north of International Airport, into free economic zone area. And we're collecting letter of interest from these companies who might be interested in locating into Korea. So if you contact us, certainly we'll be able to give you a feedback in terms of what locations are available. Next slide. So this is a specific example. We have International Airport. This is Yeongdong Island, and right next to it, we have about 900 acres available for setting up biotechnology as well as semiconductor cluster areas. This is a central government focus as well. So we've been designated as biotechnology center, and the semiconductor will be very well positioned to be located there as well. So that concludes my presentation. I again apologize for my voice, but here's my contact details. If you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kim. Round of applause, please. Thank you. Our next speaker, because he needs to leave, is Irvin from Malaysia. Irvin, or Ben as we know him, is the consul for Malaysia Trade in Los Angeles. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your involvement with Global Chamber in LA. What do you have to share? Malaysia plays a key role in the semiconductor industry, particularly Intel infrastructure. What would you like to share today, Ben?
A very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Erwin Francis, as Doug clearly introduced earlier. So we are based in Los Angeles. So as clear, I'm trying to make it concise and short to meet the 5 minutes deadline. All right. So I have prepared maybe like 3 or 4 slides to show about Malaysia-US trade as outcome of the semiconductor in Malaysia. So can we go to the first slide, please? So the companies, as Doug mentioned, Intel has been in Malaysia for decades now, and as a testament to that, we have shown a significant progress in our trade export and import. So as you can see from the slide, from 1990, our trade with US is just 10 billion, and now we reach to 71.4 billion in 2024. And next slide, please. In 2024 specifically, as you can see from the graph, E&E plays an important role, close to 60.4% for export, and import comprise of 43.2%. So it remains an important element for both countries as far as trade is concerned. And this is mainly due to, next please, our strategic E&E ecosystem in Malaysia. Whereas we have a synergy between the government bodies and agencies, all respective government bodies and agencies will facilitate investment, export, and trade, supported by the associations, as well as the industry players. If you can see on the industry players, there's 2 sides. The top side is for the multinational companies that have been in Malaysia for the longest time, and supported by the bottom part are all the Malaysian companies that are comprised of IC design, front-end fabrications, outsource semiconductor assembly stays, as well as EMS. So all this while, Malaysia is well known for the outsourced semiconductor assemblies as well as EMS. But next slide, please. But under the recently launched national semiconductor strategy, we are focusing to move forward on the supply chain and focus more on the IC design and advanced packaging, as well as advanced manufacturing equipments. So with all these reasons, with all the ecosystems, as well as this national semiconductor strategy, we believe that Malaysia will give more advantage in terms of accommodating new companies in Malaysia, as well as if you would like to look for partner in terms of outsourcing your manufacturing in Malaysia. Means to say, to fulfill your supply chain with the trade dynamics that happening nowadays, you can opt for Malaysia with all the track records that we have, with all the expertise and capacities that we got. Rest assured that we can give you the competitive edge that you need. All right. I think I'm reaching 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Then if you need any additional information, by all means, you can contact me. Next slide, please. We are based in Los Angeles, California. That is our email, losangeles@madrid.gov.my. Feel free to reach out to us. We are more than happy to facilitate, accommodate, as well as to answer any inquiries from the floor. Thank you so much, and I give the floor back to Doc. Thank you, Doc, for inviting us.
Thank you, Ben. Louis Lau is on the call as well. Louis, could you at least just say hi? Louis helps companies manufacture in Malaysia. He's given a Globinar at Global Chamber. And just to say hi, Louis, we don't have time to have a presentation, but could you spend 30 seconds and just introduce yourself and what you do?
Yeah, hi. Louis here from Malaysia. I'm with a contract manufacturing EMS company. So I think Malaysia brings a lot to the table in terms of electronics manufacturing. We have, as mentioned by Irvine earlier, since the 70s, Intel has been here. We have evolved actually from a lot in the last 50, 60 years, from just a low-cost assembly hub into high-tech manufacturing, supported by the government, but by also the industries, supporting industries like automotive, medical devices, industrial, IoT devices, so on and so forth. Global companies, Flex, Jabil, Plexus, they have been here for decades. In recent years, people like Dexcom, Smith and Nephew, Innovix, they've called Malaysia home, not just because of cost, but because of the values that we bring. We provide high quality manufacturing. We provide really good IP protection, strategic location. So whether it's Asia or Malaysia for Asia, or Malaysia for Asia, Malaysia really offers that expertise where we are hungry for business. We are a trade nation. We seek to solve manufacturing problems with technical expertise and engineering expertise. Malaysia has a lot to offer. Do reach out to me through Doug or through my LinkedIn, Louis Lau. Happy to speak. Happy to speak further. If you're looking to build smarter, better, more cost-efficient products, Malaysia is the place.
Korea, and Mijong Hibbets is the Global Chamber Executive Director for Baltimore, Washington, but she's from Busan, Korea. She's been very involved with Korean businesses coming to the United States. And Mijong, thank you for joining. And then Sean Ryu of the Korea Innovation Center will be joining you as well. Please give us an update.
Yes, thank you, Doc. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you perfectly.
All right, thank you very much for having me today. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mijong Hibit, President and CEO of Robert and William. We are a US Asia market entry consulting firm based in Maryland with a focus on helping Asian companies expand into the US market. Some of the presentation that I will do might be overlapping with the previous presenter, but I will zoom through just in order to give you the overview of South Korea's stance in semiconductor industry, global industry. Next slide. As a Korean American, I'm especially passionate about bridging opportunities between South Korea and the United States, and I'm excited to discuss this US-Korea semiconductor landscape in the AI era. Later, Dr. Sean Yu, president of Korea Innovation Center in Washington, D.C., will join the conversation as KIC's mission is also connecting Korean companies with US opportunities. And in this reason, I work with KIC. Next slide. So first note that some of the data presented here are current, while others are from previous years and sourced from multiple references. South Korea has been really a key player in semiconductor industry, as you may all know, since the 1980s and ranked the number 2 globally for the past decade, holding a 17.7% market share in 2022. The country dominates memory semiconductors with Samsung and SK Hynix controlling 60.5% of the market. That includes 70.5% of DRAM market share and then 52.6% of NAND flash market share. Korea also holds a 17.3% share in the global foundry market. However, its non-memory semiconductor sector remains a small, and efforts are underway to boost its competitiveness. Next slide. Semiconductor is South Korea's top export item. It accounted for 18.9% of total export in 2020, valued at $129.2 billion, with memory chips making up over 57% at $73.8 billion. In 2024 last year, semiconductor export hit a record high, $141.9 billion. Export to China and Hong Kong share dropped, but export to Taiwan, Vietnam, and the US increased. Direct export to the United States are estimated to $10.2 billion last year. That is 7.2% of total chip export. However, if you include indirect export to the US through Taiwan, actually export to US share rises to 21.7%. It's a very, very important market. Next slide. Korean companies are making major investment in the United States. Samsung is investing $37 billion in Central Texas, Taylor, and Austin by 2030, including 2 logic fabs and an R&D fab in Taylor, along with an expansion in Austin. SK Hynix is investing $3.87 billion in West Lafayette, Indiana, to build a memory packaging plant for AI products and an advanced packaging and R&D facility. Next slide. Well, one key factor driving South Korean companies' investment in the United States market is, as we heard before, it's a government incentive under the CHIPS Act, with Samsung receiving $4.745 billion and SK Hynix $458 million. And beyond financial support, the United States offers a greater market access, strategic partnership, and a more stable supply chain for South Korea semiconductor companies. Next slide. However, recent US policy shift really creates some uncertainty. If the CHIPS Act is reduced or repealed, companies may need to adjust their plans. And yesterday, President Trump mentioned the 25% tariff on semiconductors. If that realized, it could hurt the Korean export, but may benefit U.S. factories. And rising U.S.-China tensions bring both risk and opportunities. Strict sanctions could impact Korean businesses in China while boosting U.S. ties with Korea. Despite these uncertainties, investing in the U.S. offers market access, supply chain stability, and a long-term growth. So we will have to actually see how South Korean companies navigate these uncertainties and challenges in near future. Next slide. So we cannot talking about semiconductor industry without AI. AI is really driving innovation with both South Korea and the United States making bold investment. South Korea is increasing its AI budget by 25% this year, allocating 1.8 trillion won, which is about 1.25 billion US dollar. One key project is building the National AI Computing Center, set to launch this year, 2025, and become fully operational by 2027 due to recent South Korean government's announcement. So to support this, South Korea plans to secure 10,000 GPUs this year and an additional 8,000 GPUs next year for its sixth supercomputer. Additionally, according to the media report, that the country is also developing the world's largest AI data center with 3 gigawatts of power and a 35 billion price tag set for completion by 2028. This effort, I think, present really huge opportunities for U.S.-Korea collaboration, combining U.S. strengths in AI software and infrastructure with South Korea's expertise in semiconductor manufacturing and high-performance computing. So with that, I conclude my portion of the presentation, but I'd like to invite Dr. Sean Liu, President of KIC Washington, D.C. Thank you, Dr. Liu, for joining me today.
Thank you, Mijo.
So to start, could you provide an overview of the KIC's role as a gateway for South Korea tech startup to enter and expand in the United States market?
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. As Mijong introduced, Korea Innovation Center is a government-backed organization to support Korean startups in the global market. We provide mentorship, networking opportunities, and access to investment. We're trying to bridging the gap between Korean technology and global business. We have presence in Washington, D.C. and Silicon Valley in the US. And also we have office in Europe and China as well. Our goal is to foster innovation, collaboration, and sustainable growth for Korean entrepreneurs in the global market.
Thank you. So we talked about this AI, but in this time of AI, I think KIC is likely closely monitoring Korean startup in the AI and semiconductor sectors in Korea. So could you share some insight into the latest advancement in AI-driven semiconductor technology and their, the market impact, if there are. And also, I attended CES this January in Las Vegas, and KIC was there as well. And wonder what are your, impressions and assessment of a Korean technology presented at CES 2025?
Yeah, okay. Mijong, you introduced big players like Samsung and SK Hynix. But many Korean semiconductor startups are actively expanding their businesses in the US as well. I like to highlight a couple of those AI chip startups from Korea. In general, AI chip startups from Korea, they are focusing more on application-specific solutions rather than general-purpose chips like NVIDIA. The Furiosa AI is one of them. Furiosa is a South Korea-based AI semiconductor startup specializing in high-performance AI inference chips, um, which is designed for data centers and enterprise applications. Unlike general-purpose AI chip, Furiosa AI specialized in AI inference, which processes the running trained models efficiently in real-world application. Its flagship chip named Renegade claims 100% better power efficiency than NVIDIA's H100 GPU for AI inference tasks, not for general tasks. And as announced, Meta is in discussion with Furiosa AI for acquisition. Owning Furiosa AI's inference optimized chip would enable Meta to develop their custom AI hardware, which is very similar to Google's TPU strategy. And another AI chip startup from Korea I wanted to highlight is Rebellions. They are focused on application-specific NPUs. They began by developing optimized AI hardware for the financial sector, such as high-frequency trading applications, and have since they expanded into various other domains. Still, their approach remains on efficient application-specific solutions, make them better low power, low latency, real-time applications. They are merged with Sapion, another AI chip company in Korea, which is very specialized in video surveillance and voice assistance applications. So all these companies, Furiosa, Rebellion, Sapion, they are still underdog compared to the large AI semiconductor companies like NVIDIA, SambaNova, and Grox. But they are striving to become a number one in specific applications. And that's their typical strategy. And in addition to these companies, ARM and RISC-V based design house startups, they are very active in Korea and like Telechips and Semi5. They are looking for partnership in the US market very actively as well. So, there are big companies, but small startups, they are very active to have some presence and partnership in the US market.
Yeah, thank you for that update on really startups, South Korean startups in the AI and semiconductor sector. Finally, Dr. Ryu, as a global accelerator connecting technology and business opportunities between the US and South Korea, why do you see this cross-border partnerships in semiconductor industry the essential really for its future?
Yeah, the semiconductor industry is one of the most globally interconnected sector with its supply chains, R&D, market expansions, relying heavily on cross-border collaboration. No single country can dominate the entire semiconductor value chain. The design, fabrication, packaging, and distribution all requires specialized expertise from different regions. As the demand for AI continues to surge, the international partnership has become a must, not an option. That's why, South Korean government recently opened AI Semiconductor Innovation Center in Silicon Valley. This initiative is part of broader effort to enhance Korea's semiconductor industry through international collaboration. This center helps Korean AI semiconductor companies enter the US market more effective way, foster joint R&D between the two countries, facilitate knowledge sharing, and attract global talent together to strengthen the AI semiconductor ecosystem.
All right, with that, thank you very much, Doc. So back to you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. What a story. Thank you, everybody. We're going to shift, and Gunjan, we don't have time for your presentation, but I do want to make sure that people know about you. You are perhaps the most knowledgeable person of US, India, and India generally to around the world. Could you just say, tell us a little bit about what you do and what your view of India is? We only have a couple minutes because we need to go to Mr. Shi.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. So I run a consulting firm helping companies from all over the world to do business in India. Okay, India's GDP this year will cross that of Japan. Okay, most people don't think of India as a semiconductor power, but I want to tell you what's going to happen. Okay, already Micron is investing $3 billion. From Taiwan, the PSMC company is investing a substantial amount. From Japan, Renaissance is getting into India. Tata Group is investing over $12 billion into various aspects of the semiconductor ecosystem. So semiconductor manufacturing is growing by leaps and bounds in India. And for anybody on this conversation, you really need to look at the role India can play across the entire ecosystem. It's a tremendous change from the way India used to be. And this has happened in the last 3 years. Okay? So if you haven't heard about it, it's just because it's moving so rapidly. Now, my role and my company's role is to help anybody who has questions about India. I've been a member of Global Chamber now with Doug for 3 years. And so anybody from anywhere in the world who has questions about India, we can help them. Can I show at least a slide or two from my presentation at all, Doug?
We don't have the time for the presentation, but are there any final comments that you would have in terms of what next steps for people to get a hold of you?
Well, I just wanted to show my contact slide so people have my website, email address, and so on. It's on the last slide.
Okay, that should be fine. Jem, do you have that? Fantastic.
Yeah, you can see it on the first slide as well. Yeah.
Everybody in Southern California knows Gunjan. Everybody in India knows Gunjan, and more people need to know about his expertise and his ability with big companies, mid-sized companies, to land in India and be successful there. And so Gunjan, thanks for all that you do. Thanks for your expertise, a lifetime in the pharmaceuticals industry and a lifetime in helping companies be successful in India. Any final comments for people?
No, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has. I've been to India several times relating to the semiconductor mission, and happy to support anyone who needs help.
Extraordinary. Thank you. Thank you very much. We're now going to be shifting to Mr. Shi, and if I could ask Francis Tesmer to join me here. Would you? People only dressed in black are allowed to sit here, Francis. So we're very fortunate and very lucky to have Germany represented here with two really extraordinary leaders. And Francis, if you wouldn't mind. Carolyn Guy is the honorary consul for Germany, and she's here in the audience. And Francis, I think of as not just Germany, but an extraordinary global leader. Some of you probably know Rolf's salon. By far, it's the best salon in the US and certainly within Arizona. And she plays a leadership role at Rolf's at Doubletree and Scottsdale Road. But way more than that, Frances has been a leader in global for many years, beginning with her birth in Germany and of the Senate of Economy out of Germany. She's also got a huge project she's working on. She's probably not prepared to talk about it here today, but it's all about the world and the getting people to recognize the value of our world and climate change and getting young people and women more integrated into business and into having an impact on changing the future of the world. She's also played a key role, in fact, the leadership role in getting the beauty industry to recognize the value for young people to enter the industry and the value that they create within our society. And so she's worked with L'Oreal and ASU to actually get a degree, you know, for people in that industry. So I probably butchered that background a little bit. It's not nearly as great and amazing as she is. She's really extraordinary. But I thought while Mr. Shi, who is an extraordinary leader, while he's presenting, we'll be listening to what he has to say. And then when he's finished, he's agreed to allow a few questions, and Francis and I will ask any questions. And so, Francis, what did I get wrong in the introduction of you, please? I'm sorry.
I don't know if this is on or... Hello, hello. Does it work? Yes. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be here with all of you, and I'm looking forward to the presentation that is about to happen, and so happy to be here with Global Chamber, Doug, all of you.
So Francis also, to full transparency, 1 week ago, Tuesday, Dr. Sanjeev Kagram, as co-leader of the Global Council at Global Chamber, we started that. It's basically an advisory board for Global Chamber. And as he was looking at leaders around the world that could help Global Chamber and support our success, he reached out to Francis, maybe through my introduction, I'm not sure. Did you guys know each other before? No. Okay. So Francis, we got Francis connected to Dr. Kagram, and the rest hopefully will be history. You know, hopefully we can create something bigger and better and more significant through her and Dr. Kagram's involvement with Global Chamber. So we're, both of us here are both honored, though, to whatever we end up doing. It's hard to imagine having the impact of Mr. Shi. Stan Shi co-founded Acer in the early 1970s. And not only was he a significant player for Acer, but he just basically became a global icon in business because of his leadership in technology, his leadership in advancing business in Taiwan. He's an honored figure, not just now in Taiwan, but around the world. He subsequently now is on the board of directors for TSMC. He has his own foundation, the Stan Shi Foundation. He's zooming in from Taiwan, and he's graciously agreed to share information for us on his view of what's happening in the world, and then has agreed to allow a couple questions afterwards. The reason why he's here goes back to how we started today, and that is Thunderbird School of Global Management is amazing. It's the #1 school for international trade in the world over and over, this year included. And they have a long-standing relationship with Acer and Mr. Shi, and that's why he's here today. And we're graciously just so pleased to have him. Mr. Shi, thank you for speaking at Global Chamber. We look forward to learning more from you today, and so please go ahead. Hopefully we have presented you in the correct light.
Okay. Thank you. Good afternoon in the U.S. and I'm in very early in the morning here. So before I cannot control. Let me see. Okay. Before I talking about semiconductor, because that is my background, and also doing a lot of application for semiconductor, I like to talking about the leadership first. The new Wangdao means King's Way is 2,500 years ago by Mencius. And today is the leader's way. So when I start the company in 1976, I always apply the Wangdao approach. The key as a leader have to create value and make sure all the balance of the interest to all the stakeholders, and then make sure the sustainability development. So talking about value is important to understand. They have a 6 aspect of the value, direct, indirect, tangible, intangible, present, and the future. And the people usually look into the visible value, but as a leader, the invisible value become more critical. So make sure invest for the future invisible value. That means the intangible and the indirect, using your current visual cost. And the balance of interest, because you have to make sure we have a motivation to have to all the stakeholders to co-create the value, and the relative balance is not the absolute balance. So, and also dynamic adjuster for the new the interest for every stakeholders. So talking about today's subject about semiconductor is chip evolution from transistor, IC, LSI, large scale integrated circuit, very large scale integrated circuit. And today, actually, CPU in the early days is 1 billion transistor, and today GPU is 10 billion transistor. So the application is all talking about computing. So 4 bit of the CPU is calculator, and then watch, PC, server. The recently is AI PC, and then we are talking about all the AI computing center. Actually, is from the microprocessor, because technology is from the micrometer to the nanometer right now. So more and more computing power is required. Actually, beside that, all the sensor, the LED display, and also the lens, the mechanical electronic, the device, all relate to semiconductor. And also solar cell is semiconductor. So it's very, very popular application. And I like to talking about the global industry is related from the vertical integration to vertical disintegration. That means original every function of the supply chain is in one country or in one company, but right now it's better to become disintegration. Maybe every player focus on their expertise to make sure they are expert, the best in the lab. In the 1989, I could have a vision for Taiwan called High-Tech Island Global Citizen. High-Tech Island means the high-tech is the area we can create more value from Taiwan. And global citizen means in order to deliver our value to globally, we have to treat ourselves as a local corporate citizen, and looking into the balance of interest of all the stakeholders. And now, because from vertical integration to disintegration, so it's a paradigm shift from in the computer industry, in the semiconductor industry. In the 1991 Harvard Business Review, talking about the future of the computer is computer company, and the first place semiconductor company. But the initial actually is from Taiwan. 1983 is announced the brand PC, because that time there is no relabeling business, only the own brand business. In 90, and outside of Taiwan, they recognize Taiwan have this capability. 1987, TSMC launched a new foundry service. Okay, so this is the paradigm shift. But in that time, only one company against this argument. That is Intel. They are still keep in a IDM approach, integrated device manufacturing. Actually, all the IDM in US or in Europe, they all ask the foundry service to do their new application of the devices, because they cannot afford to continue to invest into the update of the semiconductor technology and also the fab. So this is And right now, the Intel still don't know where to go. And in the 1992, when I re-engineered Acer, I using this chart, the smiling curve, to convince the Taiwan should move all the PC assembly outside of the Taiwan. And finally, I successfully convinced our manufacturing unit in Taiwan and move to the marketplace about 42 assembly line outside of the Taiwan, close to the market, and we are focused on the intellectual property development R&D and also branding, the marketing and the service. So in the pattern, you should know RD is global competition, but the marketing is local competition. And here again, why become a vertical disintegration? Because they can focus on their area they active and then make it simple to manage, so may become more competitive. And the low, after every divide of the function, they need a consolidation in the long run, because horizontal is integrated, because we need a scale and also cost-effective approach. This is my way of understanding the ecosystem or supply chain. And then recently I come out a new smiling curve called multi-dimension. It's target for user-centric for better experience. User is the one we like to create the real value, and the better experience is really end-to-end, how we can have a better integration. So this is sharing and the resources we call share economy, and also experience economy approach. So this is the end-to-end have to become a very important consideration. That means maybe you call it a business model approach. Okay, this one we need to transformation of the mindset, then mechanism, then the implementation. My background is in 1970. I am the master for MOS, semiconductor. I designed the first calculator in Taiwan by 4 bits CPU. And I distribution for the US like TI, AMD, and the Xerox semiconductor company. 85, I designed the company designed the PC chipset by the ASIC. Today, of course, ASIC is one of the approach for the chipset to the chip. And in the 1989, I formed a joint venture with TI for DRAM. And the TI acquired, become a Acer Semiconductor Inc. Then later on merged by the TSMC. Then I become a director for TSMC for 21 years. So I'm so great to really witness all the semiconductor evolution. And let me try to explain more about the new smiling curve. I am target Taiwan to become leader in AIoT and the AI medical area. So if you're looking at this new smiling curve, is ICT smiling curve, and this blue one is the medical service or technology smiling curve. And the new smiling curve you have looking into in the left side, they are shaded 50-50. But in the middle side is ICT as a platform to deliver all the AI or the know-how. And the right side, actually, in order to get the good experience to the patient, then we need a doctor to serve for that good experience. So this is the new smiling curve. In the 2016, is 40th anniversary of the Asia, I have new vision for the Taiwan, Innovation Island, and the Oriental civilization. This is the new vision for Taiwan. Is the first one is called semiconductor, but the second is really the application of the semiconductor. Actually, Silicon to Innovation Island. Silicon Valley, there is no silicon right now, but they represent all the innovation, new industry, new application. So Taiwan have a lot of semiconductor and the good technology. I think we should using that to continue cultivate the innovation culture. But innovation is driven by market. Market is driving force for the innovation, but Taiwan really is too small. Market is too small. So the Taiwanese company, they are good for B2B to support all the US, Europe customer to address to the marketplace. And because it have that kind of big global market, then they have a opportunity to continue to do the innovation. The innovation is create a new value, continue to create it. But the key is how to have a balance of interest according to my new Wang Dao theory. Okay, this is very short to brief my actually I also have to conclude by today. In the past, we work with US very well in every aspect, bring all US technology to Taiwan and develop the application and support the US company to develop the market. This is the way. But right now, after I retire in the 2004, it's more than 20 years after I retire. Although I retired from Asia, but I am not retired from the society. So I do my PSR, personal social responsibility. Today I still start up some of the new zero emission project like polymer future ship, zero emission. So today about the climate change area, I think the Europe have more technology than in US. So right now today I am working with European about like Germany sky shares for the new wind power the high altitude of the wind power for the future. And then we do the polymer zero emission ship. The ship actually is 20% ship, 80% technology. Try to leverage the technology strength in Taiwan and the position as a ship company. So this is I maybe is the oldest founder of the new business at the 80s. Okay, so this is end of my my presentation, and I believe I have a lot of book. You wish my website, Stancy Foundation website, you can download all this new English book. Okay, thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Very interesting. A lot of smiling going on in the audience here, and a lot of appreciation for your work. What do you think, Francis?
I love it. I thought it was amazing. Thank you for the incredible presentation. I love all the smileys as well as the new smileys. And I love the focus on of course, innovation, but also new mindset and implementation. And I would love to ask you, if I may, what would be your two advice for us here in Arizona when it comes to implementation? What is an innovative way of looking at implementation here in Arizona?
Okay, before answer that, I like to talking about cultural issue. The Japan is number one in the 80s, but in the 90s, just like I explained, is the paradigm shift. So they are every country or every company, they are focused on their role to work together to develop an ecosystem. But the Japanese, their culture is not that way. They like to doing everything in their group or in Japan. In the you only can strong as your weakest link. So every link, Japan is not doing so good, they were in trouble. They are not competitive internationally by this way globally. So again, this also can be a very important mindset. Mindset is not everything doing internally. Like in early days, semiconductor company is IDM, everything doing integrated device manufacturing. In the name, the computer, all the computer company, they do their own semiconductor company. They even have their own many devices, component in the name, and doing software by themselves, assembly by themselves. But today, all the computer company, including IBM, they don't making any computer right now. And their semiconductor unit also out. They are dropped. That this is the right. American is relative more open to doing actually is initially to the the disintegration approach because the American is focused on their area they can create the value. They we partner with outside. Actually, from the labor intensive in 1960, like actually 60 start, all the semiconductor assembly is also they found their own assembly company in Asia. And end up today, they don't do that because they are outsourcing. They manage a manufacturer is a cultural issue. To them, they willing to focus on the area they can create more value, especially in the innovation area. So the outsourcing is really the approach because this co-create value and then make sure not winner take all. We have a balance of interest become the way to everyone win in this new approach. And the most winner is the consumer. They enjoy all the most advanced technology and also lowest and the service of the all products. So continue to move into the disintegration. Actually, the term is from US. I learned from the US then and I come out the sliding curve in 92 because I have to re-engineering the company. Keep in Taiwan, I keep up the assembly of the computer. Is I don't like to involve on the low value add because we have a limited resources and we still using those resources focus on the higher value add approach. The reason TSMC go to the US is to serve the customer need. I am the board member in that time, but we also talking about how we should leverage more talent in the US to do more technology development and or more innovation approach. So if the culture today in US doing a I call relative boring of the function of in the manufacture, the web area, 24 hours, and in the clean room is not good working environment. So people may don't like that way. But for semiconductor web, although in the future will become this or more AI, more automation, but still we need someone to do that. By the way, there is one reason I like to share with you. In Taiwan, TSMC have a 9 Eagle project in R&D area. They have two shifts. Every shift 12 hours, 24 hours of the R&D continuous. While the competitor is waste, they are still making the advance of the technology. We call this is a cultural issue. You like to do that way or in US or not. That's really a big issue. But here, the key is the US really have a huge market and all the new application. The biggest market customer is from the US of in TSMC. So the customer is in US. A lot of new innovation technology are going to come from the US. So I think the global integration is so important. So I believe Arizona, they can provide a good support to TSMC, but try to make sure to leverage each other to become win-win situation.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Shi. This is Doug Brunke with Global Chamber, and I'm here with Francis Tesmer, who asked that question. One of the things that she feels very strongly about, and we Global Chamber feel very strong about, is women in the workforce. I remember reading in Chip Wars how the initial expansion of the semiconductor industry out of the Silicon Valley came to Asia to some extent because women in Asia had small hands, and to be able to manufacture parts, and of course the price differential caused Bay Area leaders to export foreign direct investment into countries like Taiwan and Malaysia. But women have a lot more to give than small hands. And so wondering about for the future, what do you feel women's role will be in the semiconductor industry? I presume brain power will be a key part of the advancements of the industry and for women in the industry. What's your view of that globally?
Okay. In Taiwan, I always talking about we don't lack talent, we only lack the platform. We need to provide a platform for everyone to cultivate, develop their own potential, and become a big contributor. That's my personal opinion. But Taiwan don't have a problem to the women because usually in Taiwan, like my wife is co-founder of the Acer. Actually, he is very powerful. She is very powerful and contributed a lot to the company. I like to take example for you. In my group I founded, today we have more than 30 publicly listed companies. We believe in entrepreneurship. We give them to become independent company. That's not the way outside of the Taiwan. We are really entrepreneur approach. Everyone have their own platform. And today the big highest marketing cap of the group is doing the server. The chairman is a woman, and she background is political. And the first job is secretary, and they become a salesperson, and then they become a manager. Later on, become chairman of the highest marketing cap within our group. Is the granddaughter company, the third generation of the company. Yeah. Okay. This is the women in Taiwan. Their relative is very powerful. In our Asia, they have a two out of 7 in the board. Okay. Um, 2 or 3 actually, including one Japanese background, the board member. So actually, Taiwan, Asia is relative also a unique global company because I mentioned about Taiwan market is so small. So there is no manufacturer at all. It's not computer-based computer company. Or the manufacturer and the R&D is spin off as a Wistron. The Wistron, of course, much better scale compared to Asia because the B2B is the in Taiwan is relatively much competitive, and the branding market is not so easy. But in order to overcome this issue, Asia today is very unique global company. 2/3 of the employee is all foreigner outside of the Taiwan, and they manage to for us for all the marketplace, and we are building a new approach. All the manager actually in Taiwan, all the employee, all are shareholder of the company. Actually, when I founded the Acer in 76, before 84, 100% of the shareholder is employee. 84 become we have an outside investor. And today we rebuild all this spirit and ask all the employees to become a shareholder of company. They put the money in, they buy the share from the market. Okay, they are just equally like an outside investor, small investor, but we try to build a common interest platform for everyone. Consider the company is belong to them. Okay, so this is, and we have a really everyone have a mission or vision. The mission and vision of the ASA is really breaking the barrier between technology and the people. So this is long term. We continue to make sure our technology is focused to make sure it's easy to use, a better experience to the end user. So this is the approach of the ASA, and we because we are from Taiwan, we need a new way of the management because we learn a lot from the US practice. We learn, but because the fundamental background is different and also the culture is different, we have to base on what we learn from US to develop our own version. So the Asia Business Institute of Management talking about our way is fourth way of the globalized. One, not US or not Europe or not Japanese way, is the small country way. We have to make sure ourselves from nobody become somebody. We still just a small somebody. But TSMC in B2B area is a big guy, is the really big body. Okay.
Mr. Matt Salmon, Representative Matt Salmon, who maybe you've met. I didn't ask him that question. I presume he met you, 5-time U.S. Congressperson for Arizona, feels very deeply about Taiwan and the future of Taiwan. He's done much in his career in Washington and in Arizona to advance the progress of Taiwan as much as he can from this side. One of the questions he has for you is your view of the next steps. It would be great if we all in the world got along. It doesn't always work that way. I lived in Japan during the time when Japan seemed to be excelling beyond the US, and there was a lot of animosity. There was a lot of anti-Japanese feeling in the United States at that time. And that changed. The dynamics in the economy changed. And now the US and Japan are very, very close. Today, the US and Taiwan are very close. China, not so much. And so wondering what you see for the future. How do you view the dynamics between China and the world, and what does that mean for the future of Taiwan and the future of how we'll be either working together or not working together going forward?
Okay. Because of political systems difference, but the technology is technology and the market is market. So actually, Taiwan really help the China make all the modern industrialized. All the major export company in China is owned by Taiwanese. So we do a lot of contribution to China development in the maybe past 30 years, and until recently become a more tension right now. So of course, especially after U.S. have the country with China, many of the company they move outside of the China under the encouragement of the government. So I think but still we still do a good trade with China today. And China, because the China work with Taiwan is in economic development is relatively more effective approach. So I like to mention about back to not so related to the issues, but my past experience. I try to get the DRAM technology from Japan and also the LCD technology from Japan. But Japan is not willing to transfer technology to Taiwan. That's their mentality. But end up, I am convinced that TI to joint venture with Acer and convince IBM to transfer the LCD technology through their DTI, a joint venture with Toshiba. So, but end up all our DRAM and the LCD technology all transfer from Japan, but owned by the American. So to me, America is more open-minded, but actually today from the high-tech area, because I am only in high-tech area, they are the winner. Today, American is absolutely the winner, dominate, control the market. Even I don't agree of their culture is winner take all. Winner take all is not Wang Dao philosophy. Wang Dao is talking about prosperity. Everyone win, balance of interest. So I think in the future, in order to continue cooperation, I think win-win relation become very important. Like in PC, Intel control everything. We are not making margin at all. We just working for them like PC. But because of that, we develop a lot of competence. Using those competence, we are trying to move ourselves to in more high ground of the position, make more margin. That's the only way, because we cannot only rely on the area like in PC, Intel control everything. But Intel in the long run may not have opportunity to control every. No leader can continue to become a leader until they really sharing with others. Okay, this is very important culture of all the philosophy. So actually, I already forget what your key questions. Sorry for that.
Pretty amazing. What do you think?
Unbelievable, really incredible. I love everything about it. And I learned so much more today than ever before. about their approach, their goals, how they go about things, their mindset. And I love the uh, energy that they have and how they are going about everything worldwide. I love that. I think this is great for everybody here in Arizona at ASU. You know, it's a great education.
It really is. And I wonder, I had the good fortune to catch W. Edwards Deming in a week-long training in 1985 at the beginning of my career. And I was so impressed by what he had already accomplished. And I was left with the still things he wanted to do, things he wanted to do in industry. And wondering, maybe as a last question to you, what's left for you? What do you want to accomplish, and how can we help you? What can we do to support what's still left for you to do?
Okay. The smile curve relatively is very popular right now, even in US, especially in Asia, China or Japan. Even my granddaughter, they study in university, and the professor talking about smile curve. I am so happy about that. It's a very uh, actually the Ide-san of the Sony and also Jack Welch of the GE. When I talking about smiling curve, they are really look into this. Is a very simple way to understand the industry value added the area. Okay, my dream is really make original from the Taiwan, actually from the Chinese, the one of new philosophy. Actually create value, balance of interest, and sustainable development. I believe is the the common value all over globally. And the point is Taiwan and myself still lack of the uh, uh, voice, okay, my voice still very little in the global scale. So I hope everyone, if they consider this is the new way for the future, I like to become, this is the important management philosophy, because all our learn in the East, Oriental, everything we learn from the Western. So everything Western is better than Oriental, but this philosophy is from Oriental, and I believe is really good for the prosperity and the peace. Okay, for everyone, because the mission is everyone should equally treat, and everyone have a need, always opportunity. And today I try to make new Wang Dao become very popular in Taiwan. I also work with academic, try to do more paper about Wang Dao globally in English. And this is my mission, try to make sure I can contribute to the global society in my small way here. From nobody know the Taiwan until TSMC becomes so important for the national security and also industry security. But I hope Taiwan is small, but is very critical. Actually, in 1999, when we have earthquake in Taiwan, this week cover story talking about why Taiwan matter. Actually, Taiwan is matters. In political, it's not nobody, but in the economic industry is influence to the globally. Actually, the cover story talking about the matter is without Taiwan, the economy cannot run. That's the mission, it is the position of the Taiwan, become a hidden critical contributor. Okay, so we are still work very hard, but as a global citizen, we have to contribute on our own way. And I think the next is really the medical. The first tier of top notch of the talent in Taiwan is study the medical. the science and engineer is 1.5 tier. The first tier is really the medical, and but their contribution to the global society is limited. It's the time I identify is the area the medical talent should work with ICT talent together to contribute to the global society. I speak a lot to them. I talking with them is my mission to make sure all the doctor they can while they are asleep they can contribute to the global society through their know-how in convert into the AI, convert into the electronic devices or instruments. So this is my mission because they are really good talent, the best talent in Taiwan, better than the technology. Okay, so this is my next big challenge. Actually, when I set up a vision, I have a patient to take 20 or 30 years to realize that. It takes time, but it's one Tao philosophy. In wishful, in direct, intangible future is the invisible value. We have to commit ourselves for that. Okay.
Fantastic. I love it. Great. Incredible.
We're just so happy to have the chance to speak with you. Love you're still driven to change. You're still driven to have an impact. You're having an impact, and we thank you for all of your work. Thank you very much, Mr. Shi.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sheshe ni. So sorry to get you up early in the morning, and please take care of yourself. Take care of your health, okay?
Okay, thank you. So I take quick.
Thank you. So, Jem, just as a wrap up for our event here today, I'd like to get Francis, maybe what comments do you have based on what you heard? And then we have a couple quick announcements, and then we'll finish up.
That's great. Well, first of all, once again, it's so wonderful to be with all of you here this evening. And I'm always excited for the future. I'm always excited when I hear innovation, when I hear acceleration, and when I see humans right here in Arizona at ASU being interested in what is happening in the globe. And I'm always interested when major companies are interested in social values and all of us working together in a very innovative but also partnering with each other. So I get always very excited. My entire life has been a global life, so I love everything about global and everything about people coming together and fostering the future is what we need. That's what comes to me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Francis. If you would just stay there for a moment, and there's just a couple quick announcements that we'd like to make about what's happening the next several days. And Andrew Weigela is here from the National Association of Japan America Societies, and you're launching in Phoenix with a Friday event, and I understand I actually might be tasting some sake that day. Could you let us know more about what you're doing and how people can get involved?
Sure. Thank you very much, Doug. I wanted to say how much I enjoyed the chance to come here and take part of the 4th Global Summit. I'm one of the newest members of the Global Chamber. I'm participating, we heard Mi-jung Hibbets in the Baltimore, Washington area chapter, and I'm really impressed with this dynamic global chamber. It's also really neat to come to this campus, if I could mention that. I had a career in foreign commercial service, and so we had a lot of international economics and international relations types, but we were always super impressed with the graduates of Thunderbird, because they were the folks who knew the nuts and bolts of international commerce, and they ran circles around us, and so it's great to finally come here. I'm here, as Doug mentioned, as the head of the National Association of Japan America Societies, And that's an alliance of now, thanks to Phoenix, 40 different independent 501c3 organizations that all exist with a single purpose of promoting the US-Japan relationships. And we're not a business chamber. On one day, we might be doing anime or ikebana talks, and the next day a program on counter-strike capability of the Japan self-defense forces, and then we might be relevant to this sector, as we were in Austin doing a program with Tokyo Electron and later on with Intel up in Portland. So we also engage in the business space. But I'm in town not only to partake of the summit, but as Doug mentioned, we're launching a new membership, and some of you folks may be aware of a group that's been around for 15 years, pretty small. It's known as the Japan Culture Club of Arizona. And they will be joining again as our 40th member. Very active in a whole range of activities. The Arizona Japanese Film Festival is one of their productions, and they do a lot of great events. They're connected, as the Honorary Consul General Kelly Moore was mentioning, the sister city relationship that Phoenix enjoys with Himeji. And we'll be at Rohoen, the beautiful friendship garden, Friday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So if you'd care to celebrate with us, we're really excited about the grassroots part of the U.S.-Japan relationship, wider international relations that come back to this dynamic hub. So please do join us and support our newest member. Thanks so much.
The event is on the Global Chamber event calendar for Friday, so if you'd like to attend, either approach me or go to and sign up directly there, 4 o'clock on Friday at the Japanese Garden. I'd like to also introduce Chris Masuyama. Where are you, sir? There you are. Come on up. Come on up. So there's another new group in town, a little bit older, almost a year, I think, old, the Japan Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Arizona, and that's who's hosting the event tonight upstairs in the pub, and it's with Arizona State University, and one of the things that they found through their members, which are larger Japanese companies, that they need help on the HR side, they need help on the talent side, and so that's the conversation that's upstairs immediately after. And if you haven't already signed up for it, approach me after, and let's see what we can do in terms of getting you involved with that. Someone mentioned earlier, I think it was Kelly Moore actually, how many Japanese companies are here. When we did this event 4 years ago, there were about 40 Japanese companies in Arizona. There's approaching 100 now. So there's been a significant increase in companies, and that's part of why you're seeing the type of activity that we're seeing here. Chris, thank you for your leadership. You've had a career in semiconductors and all the work that you've done. You have your own consulting company, and now you're working to lead this organization. Could you tell us a little bit more about what's coming up tonight and what your vision is of the group?
Yes, my name is Chris. We just started the Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Arizona about 9 months ago. And we already have more than 40 companies. But an interesting thing, Doug, is 80% of them are not in Arizona yet. So many of the people are trying to come to Arizona, but they don't know what is Arizona yet. So they need to establish a lot of things, and also they need to hire so many people. So that's why today we like to do the event upstairs to kind of connect people. And talking or listening to all the talks today, people are talking about AI servers or the memory chip and so on. But the thing is, it's good to be good at one thing, but we need to integrate to make it work. And Japanese companies are here in Arizona. Another numbers I need to throw at you is thanks to the people back there, I got the numbers, Suzuki-san, thank you. But the 18 months from last year to this year, more than 10,000 Japanese people moved to Arizona. So that's how many the TSMC is trying to pull the suppliers from Japan to Arizona, and it's not stopping. It will be like 15 years of going straight up. So anyway, long story short, we like to connect all of the people more to the culture side maybe, but we are more to the business side. So we have a lot of combined projects. We work with the ASU for the lot of new material development, the paper to present at the conference. So there are a lot of the combination of the synergy happening between the US and Japan. So we are hoping to excel more. And I have a badge here, so please find me later and talk to you more.
Thank you so much, Chris. Before we end, the key of why this is so important is a lot of the support for that organization is from the Consulate General of Japan in Los Angeles, and they've been very supportive of Global Chamber over the years, including allowing us to host the ambassador of Japan a couple times, and also really a lot of their support has gone into, in fact, it was the most significant support for us to start this program 4 years ago. And so we thank the Consulate of Japan in Los Angeles for all of their support, and particularly Brian Swords, who was with the Consul General in Los Angeles and is receiving a very special award. If you received the Global Chamber newsletter this last week, you saw a picture of Brian and the founder of Nobu. And those two are being awarded special Japanese government awards in the next couple months. And so we're very proud to have Brian on the Global Chamber Los Angeles Advisory Board. Before we end, I want to thank a few people. First of all, Jem Sculptura is Global Chamber in Singapore, and she helps with our events all over the world. She started this day at 4 a.m. Pacific time, 5 a.m. Arizona time, and she's still going, and she's been the person behind the scenes through this whole period of time. And so, Jem, thank you for your support through all of this. Take the rest of the day off in Singapore, and we really thank you for keeping this all together. Exactly. As sometimes happens with Global Chamber, you know, the world is a big place and the semiconductor industry is a big market segment, and we try to maybe sometimes bite off more than we can chew, and we think that's better than doing less. And so hopefully you've made a lot of great connections here today, and we'll continue upstairs immediately afterwards. A few other people to thank, and they're standing over here. The two key leaders for on-the-ground support is Sally Alimam and Eugene Sohn of Global Chamber. So thank you, ladies. Sally is a graduate of Thunderbird, and she's come on to Global Chamber, and she's helping with the expansion around the world. So now more and more our executive directors and global advisors around the world are getting to know Sally, and she's, in addition, getting her master's degree. At the same time, she's working at Global Chamber, so thank you for all your work. And Eugene Sohn has come to us, and she'll be here through August through the Korea West program. Typically, Global Chamber has had an intern, full-time intern from Korea West for many, many years, 7 or 8 years, I think. It's an amazing program run by both the Korean government and the U.S. government, the U.S. State Department. Fingers crossed that the State Department continues to get the kinds of funding to be able to support programs like that build connections around the world. And Eugene's been doing a great job with export initiatives. And this Friday, we didn't have enough to do this week, so this Friday, where Global Chamber is launching Export League again in City of Phoenix and Metro Phoenix and across Arizona. This is the second export league for the state of Arizona. It's encouraging exporters here to be more successful globally. And so there's 4 weeks of training. This Friday at noon for exporters, it's getting ready to export. And then next Friday is finance. And the Friday after that, it's sales and marketing. And the Friday after that is logistics and other issues related to exporting. It all culminates in a judging process and some exporters in Arizona receiving connections around the world. That's what Global Chamber does, connect exporters and investors to connections around the world in a trusted environment, and that's what we're gonna be doing with the sponsorship of Mayor Gallego and the city of Phoenix through that program this year. So thank you, Eugene, for your leadership there as well. Behind Eugene and Sally are Akala and Keshav. Keshav and Madhav are two brothers from Sri Lanka, and they're going through the program at Thunderbird today, and they're interns at Global Chamber. And Akala is the same, except not from not from Sri Lanka. Where are you from? From where? Afghanistan. I should have known that. So, and Thunderbird has actually some very deep connections in Afghanistan, and there's a whole story behind that that we won't get into. So, Akala, thank you for your help out today. And finally, all the members here, thank you so much for sticking with this. Some had to leave, and so that's just the way it is. We are going to be going upstairs with the ASU JCC IAZ event where we're going to talk about ASU's initiatives to be able to support Japanese companies. Then tomorrow at 4 o'clock is a reception for all the Japanese companies in town. So if you're a member of Global Chamber and you're not involved with that and you're interested, please let me know. And then 4 o'clock on Friday is the event with the Japan America Society. Finally, I can't thank Francis Tesmer enough. Francis, you get the last word because you're the most global person that I know. It's amazing that how global you are. Here you are in Arizona. Could you make some final comments that hopefully inspire us to do something better than we've done today?
You're too kind. Again, it's just wonderful to be with all of you here in this house, in this global center that promotes global leadership. I feel everyone who is here in their own space, he or she is a leader. And I feel in today's time, we need every individual to take their own life, their own knowledge, their own engagement to the next level. We need every individual today, in today's time, more than ever before. So my hope is being engaged in the Global Chamber, which, by the way, is an amazing organization, and then here in ASU and here in this Global Center, that everybody walks away with more knowledge and more inspiration. It is time for all of us as human beings on this planet Earth to come together and make the world a better place. At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. So this event, we had some folks in Europe complaining that we were going over too late into midnight, and then we had some folks in Asia complaining it was too early at the beginning of this program. The world is a big place. So we can't please all the people all the time. However, hopefully through the recordings and through connections you've made today, you'll get a lot of value. Kenja Hassan is here, and she will have now the final word. And I think it's really interesting that she had worked with Matt Salmon prior. And in fact, her quote to me was, one of the best bosses, maybe the best boss, I'm not sure. If he was here, we'd probably say the best boss she's ever had, but certainly one of the most significantly important leaders within Arizona, especially related to Asia, and also a very good man. Not necessarily my party, but nonetheless, we're more than party. We're people, and we want to have an impact around the world, and no matter what our particular party is, we can make a difference, and Matt is doing that. Frances is doing that with all of her different work, and Kenja is doing that. And you have a special invitation. Could you have the last word?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kinja Hassan with Arizona State University's Office of Government and Community Engagement. Upstairs, we are hosting the new Japanese Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Arizona, but you're all welcome to come. It is a bar, so you are welcome to buy yourself a drink. I know it's been a long day. But we also have appetizers, and we have 5 very special presenters from ASU who will talk about the supports that ASU has in terms of workforce development, talent development, core research facilities, and economic development. So if you are interested in establishing your business here in Arizona, or if you're already established here in Arizona, these are 5 people who can help you think about growing your business here from all those different perspectives. So we're gonna do a quick round robin, 5 presenters, and then you can have more time to talk to them and also talk to each other. So you're all welcome to come on upstairs and have some snacks and a beverage and a glass of water and chat with Arizona State University and learn more about what we have to offer everybody working in the semiconductor industry. So please come on up. Thank you for being here this evening. Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, everybody online. Thanks for sticking with it right to the end. And thanks, everybody, if you're watching this recording. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great morning.
Sorry, I surprised you. No, all is well.